Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Welcome to this morning's Srimad Bhagavatam class. It's from Canto 3, the status quo, Chapter 2, and this morning we're doing text number 8. Without further ado, we'll start the class. Hare Krishna. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Janavallabha Girivadadari. Gopi Janavallabha Girivadadari. Yashodanandana Vrajajanaranjana. Yashodanandana Vrajajanaranjana. Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Janavallabha Girivadadhari. Gopi Janavallabha Girivadadhari. Yashodanandana Vrajajanaranjana. Yashodanandana Vrajajanaranjana. Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. 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 Jaya Vishnupad Paramhansa Parivajagacharya Stotra Saraswati Srimadi's Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jaya Vishnupad Paramhansa Parivajagacharya Stotra Saraswati Srimadi's Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnavindi Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. ISKCON founder Charya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Sham Kund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Mathura Dham Ki Jai. Navadu Dham Ki Jai. Jagannathpuri Dham Ki Jai. Ganga Mai Ki Jai. Jamuna Mai Ki Jai. Tulsi Devi Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Hare Krishna Mahamantra Ki Jai. Samaveta Bhaktavinda Ki Jai. Nitai Gaur Premanandi Haribo. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to the lotus feet of Sri Sri Guru and Gauranga. Holy Srila Prabhupada. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Swami Tinamuni. Namaste Krishna Padaya Prabhupada Siddhartha Shri Gaura Karuna Shakti Bhakti Namuni. Narayana Namaskritya Narom Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswati Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayat Nashtapayesu Abhadvesu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Sri Prabhupada. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 2, Text number 8. Durbhago bata loko yadavo nitarām api ye saṁvasanto na vidur hariṁ mīnā ivoḍupam. Durbhago bata loko yadavo nitarām api ye saṁvasanto na vidur hariṁ mīnā ivoḍupam. Durbhago bata loko yadavo nitarām api ye saṁvasanto na vidur hariṁ mīnā ivoḍupam. Hare Krishna. Please chant.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Durbhago bata lokoyam yadavo nitarāmapi ye saṁvasanto na vidur hariṁ ivoḍupam. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Anyone else?
Durbhago bata lokoyam yadavo nitarāmapi ye saṁvasanto na vidur hariṁ mīnā ivoḍupam. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Anyone else? All right, we'll do word for word. Durbhaga, unfortunate. Bata, certainly. Loka, the universe. I am this. Yadava, the Yadu dynasty. Nitarām, more specifically. Api, also. Ye, those. Saṁvasanta, living together. Na, did not. Vidu, understand. Hariṁ, the personality of Godhead. Mīnā, the fishes. Ivoḍupam, like the moon. Translation by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. This universe with all its planets is most unfortunate. And even more unfortunate are the members of the Yadu dynasty, because they could not identify Lord Hari as the personality of Godhead any more than the fish could identify the moon. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Uddhava lamented for the unfortunate persons of the world who could not recognize Lord Sri Krishna in spite of seeing all his transcendental godly qualities. From the very beginning of his appearance within the prison bars of King Kansa up to his Marsha Leela, although he exhibited his potencies as the personality of Godhead in the six opulences of wealth, strength, fame, beauty, knowledge, and renunciation, the foolish persons of the world could not understand that he was a supreme Lord. Foolish persons might have thought him an extraordinary historic figure because they had no intimate touch with the Lord. But more unfortunate were the family members of the Lord, the members of the Yadu dynasty, who were always in company with the Lord, but were unable to recognize him as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Uddhava lamented his own fortune also, because although he knew Krishna to be the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he could not properly use the opportunity to render devotional service to the Lord. He regretted everyone's misfortune, including his own. The pure devotee of the Lord thinks himself most unfortunate. That is due to excessive love for the Lord and is one of the transcendental perceptions of viraha, the suffering of separation. It is learned from the revealed scriptures that the moon was born from the milk ocean. There is a milk ocean in the upper planets, and there Lord Vishnu, who controls the heart of every living being as Paramatma, the Supersoul, resides as the Kshirodakshai Vishnu. Those who do not believe in the existence of the ocean of milk, because they have experience only of the salty water in the ocean, should know that the world is also called the go, which means the cow. The urine of a cow is salty, and according to Ayurvedic medicine, the cow's urine is very effective in treating patients suffering from liver trouble. Such patients may not have any experience of a cow's milk because milk is never given to liver patients. But the liver patient may know that the cow has milk also, although he has never tasted it. Similarly, men who have experience only of this tiny planet where the salt water ocean exists may take information from the revealed scriptures that there is also an ocean of milk. And although we've never seen it, from this ocean of milk, the moon was born. But the fish in the milk ocean could not recognize that the moon was not another fish and was different from them. The fish took the moon to be one of them, or maybe something illuminating, but nothing more. The unfortunate persons who do not recognize Lord Krishna are like such fish. They take him to be one of them, although a little extraordinary in opulence, strength, etc. The Bhagavad Gita, chapter 9, text 11, confirms such foolish persons to be most unfortunate. Avajananti mam muda manushim tanum ashritam. Oma Gnati Vidanyasya Gyana Gyana Shalakaya Chakshu Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Danati Swapadantikam. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshnaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namini. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravan Pracharini Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Pastyatya Charini. Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namni Gunachiche Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shiva Shari Gaura Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Prabhupada ki jai. The English translation again. This universe with all its planets is most unfortunate. And even more unfortunate are the members of the Yadu dynasty because they could not identify Lord Hari as the personality of Godhead any more than the fish could identify the moon. Hare Krishna. So, this is the section where the conversation between Vidura and Uddhava has taken a very interesting turn, and also the emotions associated with that are also have taken a different turn. Vidura has asked, he's going on pilgrimage, he's met Uddhava, and he's asking Uddhava about the welfare of family members, his own members, the Yadu dynasty. Vidur is in the Kaurava dynasty, but he's asked about the Yadu dynasty. He's asked about the Kaurava dynasty members there. He's asked particularly about the Pandavas and Maharani Kunti, and now he asks about Sri Krishna. And when he asks about Krishna, that's when the emotions of Uddhava changes. Uddhava remembers Krishna very, very, very intensely. He goes into ecstasy. He practically visits the spiritual world. Then he comes back. This is actually something that happens to pure devotees. Sometimes if they want to show it, they show some ecstatic feelings, and it's connected with feeling separation from Krishna. Then sometimes the symptoms that come with that are not hidden, so they are shown. And sometimes the symptoms may be quite intense. Crying, standing of the hair on end, hairs of the body on end. Sometimes there's rolling on the ground. The later chapters of Nectar of Devotion, from chapter 26, 27, 28, 29 especially, describes the emotions of Krishna himself and the emotions of the devotees of Krishna. Much detail, more details are given there about these emotions and the description of the emotions. So Uddhava now comes back to, let's just say, comes back to the form that he was in. I wanted to say reality, but reality is spiritual. So he comes back to the form, the situation that he was in, mood and everything. He's now, back to conversing with Vidura. And in this text, he's lamenting that people who should know Krishna well don't understand Krishna. This text is what's talking about that. This universe with all its planets is most unfortunate. The universe with all its planets is most unfortunate. And even more unfortunate are the members of the Yadu dynasty. Why? Because they could not identify Lord Hari as the personality of Godhead. So the overwhelming majority of residents in human bodies, the 400,000 types of human bodies, that are supposed to know more than the 8 million types of bodies that are not human. In this universe, with all the planets, Uddhava is saying they're most unfortunate because they can't identify Lord Hari as the personality of Godhead. This tiny planet in the medium, that is the Bhuloka, medium level of planets. This is a very small planet in that level. 14 different planetary systems are there. And the Lord is not known well. Very, very few people know the Supreme Personality of Godhead as Krishna. In the religions, they don't identify the Lord. They don't know who the Lord is. The Lord, the Creator, even when they talk about the Creator, which means Lord Vishnu, they still don't know who He is. Christianity doesn't know. Islam does not know. You name it, they don't know. So Uddhava is saying is that The members of the Yadu dynasty are even more unfortunate. Why? Because they were with him. He lived with them in Dwarka. Hmm? He lived with them for a short while. They didn't know when he was born. That was Mathura. But then later on, he was actually instrumental in the population in Dwarka moving overnight. Sorry, the population in Mathura moving overnight to Dwarka. That alone was very interesting. Hmm? When it was agreed upon, and Krishna never forces anyone. Everybody has their own free will, free choice. So he had to convince the Yadu dynasty to move from Mathura to Dwarka to get away from Jarasandha, who kept fighting them. So he showed the model. Vishwakarma came and showed the model of Dwarka. Then they agreed. And here, Krishna's potency, it was such that the day that they were supposed to move to Dwarka, it just happened in the morning. They woke up. The night they went to sleep, they were in Mathura. The next morning, they woke up, they were in Dwarka. Everything had been moved to Dwarka. That is Krishna. Everyone and everything had been moved to Dwarka. And they had residence immediately. Everything is there. So there was no truck rental and there was no anything of that. Boat rental, if you like, because Dwarka is in the middle of the ocean. Nothing of that sort. They were there. Now, it was from the Supreme Personality of Godhead's energies that happened. And all the while that the Yadu dynasty was with the Lord, they were with him. They loved him. But their conception of him was only up to the supersoul level. They knew he could be everywhere. Because the supersoul is everywhere. They knew the properties of him, so they looked at him, Krishna, as a supersoul that has come now in person to be with them. But their understanding of Krishna was only up to the supersoul level. And this is what Uddhava is lamenting. Because the Lord, its expansion is the supersoul, but the full Krishna was with them. And they did not know that he was a Supreme Personality of Godhead more than the supersoul, at least from a point of view of the properties of Krishna, the energies of Krishna. 64 main ones. And the supersoul does not have all 64. So they didn't really know the proper definition, who Krishna really was. And that's why Uddhava is saying that the universe with all its planets is unfortunate, and even more unfortunate are the members of the Yadu dynasty, because they could not identify Lord Hari as a personality of Godhead any more than the fish could identify the moon. And so when he put it that way, any more than the fish could identify the moon, then Srila Prabhupada had to go into detail as to why Uddhava was making that comparison. Any more than the fish could identify the moon, the fish cannot identify the moon properly. They saw the moon as another fish. So then you begin to wonder, if the fish sees the moon as another fish, how did the moon wind up in where the fish lived? So then Srila Prabhupada had to explain, because we know the fish live in the water. We have experience of that. But then Srila Prabhupada explained that there's the ocean of milk. The ocean of milk. The moon was born from the ocean of milk. The fish in the ocean of milk saw the moon, but they see the moon as one of them. Just like those in the Yadu dynasty see Lord Krishna at best as a supersoul among them, but no higher than that. So Srila Prabhupada explains that from the beginning of his appearance in Mathura, appearance in Kansa's prison, Krishna had exhibited his potencies as a personality of Godhead. in all the six opulences: wealth, strength, fame, beauty, knowledge, and renunciation. His pastimes unfolding right from Goku on. Foolish persons of the world can't understand that he's the Supreme Lord. So Krishna performs his pastimes as a way of helping people to identify him. His activities are uncommon, and that is to help people to see, oh, there is a very, very, very distinguished personality. No one seems to be able to do what he can do, so he must be the topmost. That should be the logical conclusion. But still, people see him, 2 hands, 2 legs, so he must be like us. And therefore, they misidentify Krishna. Some think that he's just an extraordinary historic figure. But then, the Yadu dynasty, they were in the company of the Lord and still were unable to recognize him. So that's why Uddhava was lamenting. He's lamented his own fortune. Uddhava knows that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. His lamentation was that he didn't have the opportunity to render devotional service to the Lord. His activities are actually categorized as devotional service, but Srila Prabhupada says he thought that way because pure devotee of the Lord thinks himself most unfortunate. Because of the excessive love that they have for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, they don't think, no matter what they do, they don't think they are serving him well enough. And that's where the lamentation, the Uddhava's lamentation stemmed from. He wasn't thinking he had served the Lord well. When he went later on, when he was sent by Krishna to Vrindavan to send information for, to get in touch with the gopis and inform them what was going on with Krishna. Krishna was still in Mathura at that time. When Uddhava saw the level of dedication and love that the gopis had for Krishna, even when Krishna was not present with them, Uddhava was bringing a message from Krishna to them. Uddhava was blown away by the level of love that the gopis had. He was very surprised. So much so that he thought that maybe I should be born like a creeper in this land so that I can have the benefit of getting the dust of the lotus feet of the gopis, by the gopis stepping on me, so I can be a blade of grass and they can step on me and give their dust to me because they are so elevated in their understanding and the show of love that they have for Krishna. So this is to let us know that, one, Krishna is the Supreme Personality. Sometimes some of you may have heard, about 3 other sampradayas, apart from the Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya that we are involved in, that Srila Prabhupada has connected us to, particularly the Sri Sampradaya. And sometimes you may come across the notion that, well, Krishna came from Lord Vishnu, so that Vishnu or Narayan is the highest. But it's not difficult to disprove that. Lord Brahma is the most intelligent and the first being of the universe. And in the Brahma Samhita, Lord Brahma that got shown the transcendental world, Vaikuntha, especially Golok Vrindavan, he has said, in chapter 5 of his compilation, Brahma Samhita, the very first text, he says, Ishvara Parama Krishna. He did not say Ishvara Parama Vishnu. Ishvara Parama Krishna. Or Ishvara Parama Narayan. He didn't say that. He said, the supreme, the topmost of all Lord, the Lord of Lords, is Krishna. So sometimes people say, oh, well, based on the Bhagavatam, there was this incarnation of the Lord, then the next incarnation, and they count the first, the second, the third, the fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, they go on, and Krishna is in there somewhere. Therefore, then they come to that kind of conclusion. It's a mechanical type conclusion. It's not difficult to defeat that. For example, if there is a lineup of personalities, say teachers in the school, and they're all lined up. One teacher that teaches a particular class is in the front, then another one, then another one, then another one. But there's the head teacher, the principal. And the principal, by his own will, is not in the front. He's just among the teachers. So he sits on, say, number 8. Does that diminish the head teacher's qualification compared to the rest of the teachers? Just because he's not in the front, he's not standing in number 1 by his own will. He chooses to be among them in the middle somewhere. Then he becomes lower than the other teachers just because he's not the one in the front. So Krishna can be anywhere. Krishna can do things based on his will. So if it's being described in the scriptures how the incarnations are come one after another, but Krishna is not just an incarnation. Krishna is the sum total of all of them. Garga Samhita also confirms that. Garga Samhita is also in Cantos. Canto 1, chapter 3. It has to do with the Lord's appearance. When Mother Bhumi was disturbed about the demons causing problems here on the earth, and she approached Lord Brahma, who took her and other demigods to the milk ocean, the same milk ocean that we're talking about the moon having come from. And they met Kshirodakshaya Vishnu. The Lord received them. They were at the bank of the milk ocean. But Lord Brahma had gotten in touch with Lord Vishnu, Kshirodakshaya Vishnu, in prayer, and put the case of Mother Bhumi being so disturbed in front of Lord Vishnu. And Lord Vishnu says, "Come, I will appear. You, demigods, also take birth in the Yadu dynasty." Now, that is one description in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Garga Samhita goes a little further. The same pastime, the same set of events. But in the Garga Samhita, it does say that Kshirodakshaya Vishnu led the demigods and Mother Bhumi to the spiritual world. They left Dhruva-loka, they left the milk ocean. They went through the area that the Lord's toe pierced the universe. This is the Vamandev pastime. And through there, they went past the Viraja river, and there's very, very, very detailed explanations there in Garga Samhita to the spiritual world. Now, in the spiritual world, there's description of what happened. There is the whole lecture in itself, maybe maybe 3 lectures themselves, just a description of the spiritual world and how phenomenal that is. But anyway, for this purpose, they went to the spiritual world. And here's what happened. After they were met, this is Goloka Vrindavan especially, they went. Lord Brahma, Mother Bhumi, the demigods, Indra, they were all there. Lord Vishnu, Kshirodakshaya Vishnu, took them there. Now, here's what happened in Garga Samhita. King Bahulashwa is the one that's asking the questions. So in the first text, Sri Bahulashwa said, this is Garga Samhita, Canto 1, Chapter 3. O sage, what did they do, the demigods, when they saw the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna, who is greater than the greatest? Even Bahulashwa is confirming that. Please be kind and tell me. So, they say this is Narada. Narada Uvacha. Narada said, as everyone looked on, listen to this closely, Lord Hari, the 8-armed master of Vaikuntha, also called Lord Narayan, he appeared and he merged in the body of Lord Krishna. He merged in the body of Lord Krishna. Now, literally, the case is proven here. Because if Lord Vishnu or Lord Narayan came and he merged into the body of Krishna, we have to look at Krishna as greatest. We sometimes hear when Krishna comes for his pastimes, all of the Vishnus are in him. But here in Gaga Samhita, it's being told that the Lord of Vaikuntha, he appeared and merged in the body of Lord Krishna. He merged in the body of Lord Krishna. In text number 3, Radha is saying, the perfect, ferocious, and powerful Lord Nishringa, who was effulgent as millions of suns, he appeared and merged in Lord Krishna's effulgence. Lord Nishringa. Next, in text 4, then the master of Svetadweep, who was decorated with 1,000 arms, came in a splendid chariot drawn by 1,000 horses. And what happened? Well, he was opulent with many weapons, accompanied by the goddess of fortune, served by many associates. So he appeared before the demigods, and he suddenly merged in the body of Sri Krishna. So right in front of the demigods, this is all happening. In text number 6 through 8 of Gaga Samhita, holding a bow and arrows, glorious with Sita. So you know, said glorious with Sita, you know who we're talking about. And accompanied by his brothers, the lotus-eyed Lord Ramachandra came in a golden chariot that was effulgent like 100 million suns. And he had swaying chamaras, the monkey kings were there, rumbling with 10,000 wheels, 10,000 flags, pulled by 10,000 horses, the chariot even described. And when he came, Lord Ramachandra merged into the body of Lord Krishna. So they all came, these demigods, one after another, and right in front of the demigods and Mother Bhumi, they merged into Lord Krishna. So one text after another, one verse after another in the Gaga Samhita shows who is topmost. Narayan came also. They also merged into the Lord Krishna. So the demigods were literally amazed to see this particular pastime that the Lord showed. They merged every one of them into the body of Krishna. And after it finished, Krishna looked at them, and they were all in American language blown away, and they started offering, the demigods started offering prayers immediately to Lord Krishna at Golok Vrindavan. So the Supreme Personality of Godhead, without a doubt, nobody should have any doubt that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Lord Brahma has told us that in his Brahma Samhita. Gaga Samhita has described how all the other expansions and incarnations of the Lord merged into him. Krishna just showed them, the demigods, that all of these are part of me, and I am the topmost. So that is one thing that nobody should have any doubt about. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, it also says in Canto 1, Chapter 3, and I know I was reading Gaga Samhita, Canto 1, Chapter 3, but this is Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 3, verse number 28. Ete chamsa kalapumsham Krishna stu Bhagavan Swayam Indrari Vyakulam Lokam Vedayanti Yuge Yuge. The translation are, all of the above mentioned incarnations are either plenary portions or portions of the plenary portions of the Lord. But Lord Sri Krishna is the original personality of Godhead. All of them, these portions and plenary portions, parts of plenary portions, they appear on planets whenever there is disturbance created by the atheists, and the Lord incarnates to protect the theists. So this is clearly made here, stated. So the Yadu dynasty only saw him as the Lord capable of being everywhere. Oh, this is the Lord as the super soul. So that's the way they were relating to him, like that, in Dwarka. But the gopis know better. Lord Brahma actually knows, because Lord Brahma got all of these revealed to him. So more than once, in quite a few occasions, Lord Brahma was allowed to come to Golok Vrindavan. There was also another pastime, we won't get into that now, the Lord Brahma witnessed, not only witnessed, but he was a part of it. He was the priest. He was made the priest in Golok Vrindavan, and he offered prayers, priest for the Yagya, the Yagya priest. And he offered prayers also, wonderful prayers to Radha and Krishna at that time in Golok Vrindavan. So Krishna is the topmost. And there's proof. Arjuna said it in Bhagavad Gita also, when he saw the universal form. Then he saw all the demigods within the universal form. And then he realized that this is the Supreme Personality. And he mentioned quite a few distinguished souls, pure devotees of the Lord, who have been saying that Krishna is, in fact, the Supreme Personality. And he says, now you yourself are showing it to me, or declaring it to me. So originally, the Lord is full of all opulences, all prowess, all fame, all beauty, all knowledge, and all renunciation. And the key word is all. He has it all. When they are partly manifested through the plenary portions, or part of the plenary portions, that includes Lord Vishnu, Lord Narayan, it should be noted that certain manifestations of his different powers are required for those particular functions. For example, Lord Narayan, who is an incarnation, expansion of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So he is the king of Vaikuntha. Every Vaikuntha planet, there's the Lord. Krishna has expanded himself into Lord Narayan. Actually, it goes from the first expansion is Balaram, and then from them there are the four forms. Chaturvyuha, Vasudev, Anirudh, Sankarshan, and Pradumna. They expand to the Lord Narayan. So the Lord Narayan, from the expansion of the Chaturvyuha, that happens. Then Lord Narayan expands into the second set and of Vasudev, Anirudh, Sankarshan, and Pradumna. And the third one, the Mahasankarshan, the third that I mentioned, Vasudev, Anirudh, Sankarshan. That third Mahasankarshan, called Mahasankarshan, he expands into the Vishnus. The Vishnus that are creating the material world, Mahavishnu. Then he expands to Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, from whom Lord Brahma comes. And then he expands to Kshirodakshaya Vishnu, who is a super soul, in all living entities and in all atoms. And for living entities, he resides in the heart of those living entities, like that. But it all starts with Krishna. So many things are explained, but the point is made clearly that no one is at the level of Krishna. All the others that you heard that the people call God, they are from the plenary portion or part of a plenary portion of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is Krishna. And in the very first text of Srimad Bhagavatam, it also is explained in the purport that Srila Prabhupada says, the original Lord is Sri Krishna. That is made clear. You have time, go read it, how it's explained there by Srila Prabhupada. Right in the first few sentences of the purport of Srimad Bhagavatam 1.1.1. The one that I talked about in Gaga Samhita is Gaga Samhita Canto 1, Chapter 3. Now you go online, you can easily see it. Just Canto 1 of Gaga Samhita, Chapter 3. And then we start one text after another. Explains what happened when the demigods with Kshirodakshai Vishnu went, and Mother Bhumi and Lord Brahma went to Golok Vrindavan. What happened there? Before they talked about Mother Bhumi's situation. But the Lord already knew about it. And as Srimad Bhagavatam says, he said he was going to take birth in the Yadu dynasty, and they, the demigods, should also take birth there in the Yadu dynasty. Also, that's the reason why the Yadu dynasty was so powerful. So fighting them means literally fighting some of the demigods. So with that, we should be totally convinced. Whatever we were taught about Lord Ram and Lord Dhanvantari, they all display different things about the Supreme Personality of Godhead, different reasons. Ram and Dhanvantari displayed his fame, and we know very well how famous Lord Ramachandra is now. Here, many people just rely on him. And Mohini and Vamana, they exhibited his beauty, but they are also expansions of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Lord Kapila exhibited his transcendental knowledge. Narayan exhibited his renunciation. But they are all parts and parcels of the Lord. As in Garga Samhita is explained, and I may not have mentioned it, but Narayan Rishi also appeared in Golok Vrindavan and they merged into Krishna right in front of the demigods. So they are all empowered incarnations of the Supreme Personality of Godhead for different purposes, for different pastimes. But Ishvara Parama Krishna, the Supreme, is the most supreme, is Lord Krishna. So that is why the gopis are so connected in love, the highest love you can get to Sri Krishna. And the highest of the highest is the one exhibited by Srimati Radharani, Madanakya Mahabhav. The Mahabhav is already the topmost of the 7 levels of love, of Krishna Prema. And Madanakya Mahabhav is the combination of all 7. So it starts with Sneha, then Maha. We won't get too technical with those, but all of those, maybe another time we can explain each one of them, these levels of Krishna Prema. A personality showing that, how they show their love to Krishna. So the Krishna is vast, he's unlimited. And it's hard for our small minds to kind of contemplate something about Krishna. So Srila Prabhupada tells us, says, this much we should know, that Krishna is unlimited, and that Krishna is the supreme. Nobody comes up to his level. He is the supreme personality of all in existence, whatever level that they are at. And everything comes from him. The demigods, whatever opulence they're able to display, they all get it from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Their lifetimes are also limited. At some point, they also leave their bodies. Lord Brahma will leave a body after 311 trillion and 40 billion years. Some other demigods, they just leave within 1 day of Lord Brahma, like that. But 1 day of Lord Brahma is very long, 4,320,000,000 years. Some of them live in the higher planets, they leave. But nobody is at that level of Krishna. So, everywhere we turn in the scriptures where the Lord's devotees are describing him, the correct description is always that he is the source of all other incarnations. It is not, Srila Prabhupada says, it is not that Lord Krishna has any source of incarnation. He came from some other. No. All of the symptoms are present in the Lord. Then he goes into details about that. Swayam Rupa, Swayam Prakash, Tat Ekatma, Prabhav, Vaibhava, Vilas, Avatar, Avesh, and then us, we the Jivas. We are all provided with innumerable energies just suitable to the persons and their personalities, what they're going to do. So he has 64 principal attributes. This is Krishna. He is this possessor of these attributes 100%. And his expansions, the Prakash expansions, Ekatma expansions, and all other avatars who are in the Vishnu Tattva, they possess up to 93% of those 64 attributes, or 60 of the 64 attributes. That's the same as 93%. Lord Shiva possesses almost 84% of these attributes. And the jivas, we are individual living beings in different statuses of life. We possess only up to the limit of 78% of these attributes. Now, we'll talk about it up to us, even conditioned souls. In this conditioned state of material existence, the living being, that's us, we possess this 78% of the 64 attributes of Krishna, but in a very minute quantity. That's our situation. We possess the 78 in minute quantity. Lord Brahma also possesses 78 attributes, but he possesses the 78% of the attributes in full. That is the difference between Lord Brahma and us. So a person can be Lord Brahma, but they have to go through several lifetimes where they are exhibiting these in order to, these 78% attributes in order to get to that level of Lord Brahma. But of course, we don't want Lord Brahma. If you listen to Srila Prabhupada, we want to go home back to Godhead, not go to be a Lord of another universe. So the demigods have the same attributes in less quantity, 78. They're also there. Whereas human beings possess these attributes in a very minute quantity. And that is the difference. So any living being, no living being can possess attributes like true not Lord Shiva or Lord Vishnu or Lord Krishna. But then Krishna is the topmost. He has those attributes in 100%. That is Krishna. So Lord Uddhava was talking, and after he came from getting down to normal, came out of his ecstasy, he's talking to Vidura, and he's lamenting as to why people don't understand Krishna, and he's lamenting about he himself not having served the way he should have. He thinks he should have. Uddhava always served wonderfully. And that kind of sentiment, it just simply means that a pure devotee like Uddhava is always looking to serve more, show more of his love, and is always hungry to show more. And we also should be hungry when the opportunity is given to us to serve devotees, to serve Guru, and to serve the deity. Not only the deity, to serve the spiritual master and serve devotees very wonderfully. And we'll leave with the last message is that Sri Ramanujacharya, when he was on his deathbed, may have said this before, I don't know, but we'll say it here anyway, that his devotees, his disciples were very morose because Guru was leaving the body. And so Sri Ramanujacharya decided to help them with their mindset because he was going to leave. He said first, he commended them for everything that they had done in service to him. He was appreciating how they had served him so nicely. And then he told them, and this is a message for all of us too, he told them, you should serve each other with the intensity and dedication that you've used to serve me. This is what the first message he left them. He left them other messages also, about 7 of them. But this is the first one that he said. So pour your heart out to serve Guru, pour your heart out to serve the deity, but pour your heart out to serve devotees also. The circumstances may vary, of course, but the intention and the heart behind it should always be, I'm going to serve to my best ability. This is what pleases Krishna if we do that. and gives us a chance to go back. If we serve like that, we already have the right mindset for Golok Vrindavan. If we serve like that, even though we don't have senses that are so wonderful, our senses are blunt, senses are imperfect, but the mindset should be we want to serve to the best of our ability at all times. At all times. Don't allow Maya to step in and say, oh, this person is junior to me, therefore it doesn't matter, I shouldn't do much. No, we're already in Maya if we think that way. Because the soul is not junior to somebody else's soul. It doesn't work like that. It does not work like that. So the intensity of service should be there. Now, as a matter of hierarchy, as a matter of respect, seniority may be there in the way we behave towards senior devotees or junior devotees and so on. That's just to train us to come to the level of full love of devotees and full love of Guru and full love of Godhead. Those rules are there. But at the spiritual level, everybody is a soul. That hierarchy does not exist in that way. So we should really pour our hearts out to serve. And the more we serve, even those who are junior to us, the more Krishna becomes pleased with us. Because then our false ego is put in check. We don't say, oh, this person is below me and when I got initiated and how old I am, therefore I shouldn't serve them. No. Should always be willing to serve everybody. And that way we will advance wonderfully, the way Srila Prabhupada wants us to. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So thank you for coming on. Krishna Katha is always wonderful. Now, the devotees can unmute themselves. They want to ask a question. They want to share a takeaway or some realization. Please do that. If not, thank you. Also, I see that appreciation by dear Krishna Prabhu. Thank you very much. Accept the humble obeisances, God, to share the powerful. Any questions or comments? If not, then I wish you all a wonderful Krishna conscious day. Jai. Vanchakalpatarubhishcha kripa sindhibhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Shila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you again. Hare